Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, Never Forget Garden, Veterans Memorial, to be located at the Brazos, at the City of College Station, Athletic Park, and Veterans Center in the area of the Brazos Valley Veterans Memorial. I got it out. So you know Veterans Park, and this is a special place that the City of College Station has designated for this garden. And we feel it will be a nice addition to our community. We started out to recognize the 100th anniversary of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. That was in November. The Tomb of the Unknown Soldier is at Arlington National Cemetery in D.C. area, and I'm a member of Daughters of the American Revolution, and our President General said this would be a good project to commemorate that anniversary. So reach out to your community and identify a suitable location for a garden and pursue it. Well, y'all,
It's just the arrow keys.
you see the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. On the side are wreaths.
That's what I don't have.
It's an upside down
So you
wreath.
can either turn this wheel or the button.
And so that will be on the front of our
Those will advance it. That's what
monument at the Veterans Park. That's our relationship to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. So when I started, I thought, it could be a little garden the size of the tomb, 10 by 15 or whatever. Well, it's grown. This monument is probably going to be 7 feet tall, so it will be a nice addition to the park. And then we'll have the garden around it. There'll be a plaza area, and we'll show a slide on that. But it's going to be a nice addition. It also celebrates helps celebrate the 250th birthday of America. 2026, we're going to celebrate, and VAR and other groups are trying to celebrate something each year. Last year, the 3 local chapters got together and put a wreath at the Veterans Park at the site of the American Revolution Soldiers Memorial. So we think this will be a nice place to have memorials. So you see the map of the Veterans Park. The parking lot is at the bottom. As you go in toward the pavilion, the small pavilion there, take a right and go to the Wall of Honor. On the sidewalk, there's already a bench. This is the sidewalk to the Wall of Honor. Right across the sidewalk, where the garden will be, is a bench. And that will be a nice place where people can reflect and remember our soldiers that were lost. My husband's in Sons of the American Revolution, and he said, even back in the American Revolution, a lot of soldiers fell and died where they fell. And a lot are in unmarked graves. So this will also help commemorate all of our veterans who died unknown. The Wall of Honor is to recognize our veterans, so you can add names there. But this is to recognize the unknown soldiers. So you see the bench, and we're kind of standing where the park will be, the garden will be. The Tomb of the Unknown Soldier has honor guards that are there 24 hours a day. One of their projects is to support a Never Forget Garden, and we have the plaque, and it's up here, you can come look at it. But it's a nice memorial, a way to remember. And like I said earlier, the Veterans Park Board sees this as a place where we'll do a lot of ceremonial wreaths and remembrances. Lots of groups are cooperating with this. The City of College Station, Parks and Recreation Department, the Historic Preservation Committee, the Parks Board, the Brazos Valley Veterans Board, Memorial Board, and several veterans groups, A&M Garden Club that I'm also in, and several garden groups are supporting it. Daughters and Sons of the American Revolution. The Community Foundation is supporting us, is cooperating with us. So it's really gotten to be a community project. Next slide.
Can I just say a couple of things? I think the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier is really, it hits the hearts of a lot of people. Could I ask how many of you actually have a veteran, a family member, a cousin, somebody? Can you raise your hand if you have a veteran in your family? Yeah, so every time we mention this to anybody, they get very excited about the project. And I just wanted to put in here real quick that there are 688 men who have served in all the many, many soldiers as honor guard for the tomb. So it's a very much of an honor. They get a special badge for doing this. And I think all of this adds to the mystique of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier.
And we have an honor guard member in our community, and we're talking with him about speaking to our group, so we'll let you know when that happens, hopefully this spring sometimes.
Go ahead. What you're looking at right now is the actual landscape design that was done by the Texas A&M horticulture students. And the plaza itself is 14 by 21 feet. As Jane was saying, the monument is now 7 feet tall. The star is a granite star right in the center of the garden. And then there are pavers all around this inside border. And that's part of our Pave the Way campaign to help fund this. Jane told you it started out as a small garden. Well, it was only supposed to cost $6,000. And now, guess where it's at? $70,000 to $100,000. So we need to spread the word and everybody buy a brick when you have time, would you? This really has been a process, as Jane was saying. A lot of people have been involved with it. So it's no longer just a DAR project or an SAR project. It is a total community project. And that's why there's so many people involved with it. On the picture down here, Jane is in her wonderful colonial dress, which I love. And that is at the kickoff on November 11th, which was Veterans Day. And it was the big celebration, you know, for the Wall of Honor names being called off. The top group, that's one of the larger groups that came out and actually looked at the proposed location for the garden at Veterans Park. So there's quite a nice group. The next one is a planning meeting that was held at the Senior Center. And then down below, that's one of the students holding up one of their designs for the DAR chapter, La Vida, to look at and kind of determine.
Okay, Sherry?
Yes, ma'am.
Lou Holtz is also on our committee, and he's helping us with the flower planting. Lou, you want to come? Because...
Yes. You want to go back one?
Yeah, go back. Because around the plaza will be 4 to 5 foot garden.
We're so glad to have him because he knows about plants and Sherry doesn't know about plants.
I know a little bit about plants that grow in the soil if you water them and the such. But anyway, we've been doing a lot of thinking about what kind of plants to put in here. You'll notice at the back you see the trees. We're looking for suitable evergreens, and we're having some debates about exactly what we want out there. If you want an evergreen tree around here, you're probably looking at some sort of juniper. A lot of people are allergic to juniper, and they say no. So we're still looking at exactly what we're going to put in there. May indeed be juniper, because there are a lot of them in the park. In the beds themselves, these areas in here, we will have a theme of red, white, and blue, not surprisingly. So we're looking for plants that will fit with that, such as, for example, a blue plumbago, nice blue flowers most of the year round. So we'll have that splash of color in there. In addition to that, then we're going to look for some red plants, which might include some salvias or roses or whatever, and white as well, which again could be roses, it could be altheas or rose of Sharon's, and the things of that type that will have some nice blooms that go along with that. Now, we're not going to stick strictly just with the red, white, and blue. There may be little splashes of other things that go in there. Among other things that we want to do with the plants, we want to get some pollinators in there, things that will attract pollinators and feed them. So we may have some Mexican marigold or tagetes in there, which are very aromatic. We may have some various sorts of milkweed to support the monarch population. That's a big push here in College Station. And things that will provide both scents, like the Mexican marigold, and color. So we're still selecting the plants. We don't have to worry about that immediately, but we'll start either growing some or acquiring them over the next couple of years. Maybe the next year, I don't know how long we'll have until we have to start the planting in there. But there's a lot of work to be done first. But we are planning this at the current time. And so if any of you have suggestions for plants, we're looking for things that primarily perennials and such that will either be, well, and we're also looking for low maintenance plants. Okay, if they require a lot of work, we're not too really looking for that. We'll obviously have to mulch for weeds and things of that type. But so we're still selecting plants there. Do you need a point?
I noticed one thing I couldn't see till I went to sit down. I overlooked telling you about the pedestals. They're hard to see, but let me point them out to you. Right here and right there. There's 2 granite pedestals that will be approximately 3 feet tall. And those are at the entrance to the garden, and we'll talk some more about that in a minute.
As Sherry said, this has really been a process. Steve Beachy has been a great mentor for us, because we'll call with a question. He repeats to us, this is a process. You heard Lou say we're still looking at the plants, so we're learning, and we will appreciate y'all's suggestions on any of this. So we've tried to do some media. We had the kickoff November the 11th. Then we had a special announcement or event at the Community Foundation. They've been a partner with us and are a 501c3 and accepting donations for the park. And we had a flyer back at the table. If you didn't get a flyer, they're back at the table. So there should be a couple. If you didn't have one, raise your hand. If you didn't get one, raise your hand. Okay, so most of you got one. So we had the kickoff, and Patricia Gurley with the foundation is working with us. Brandon Gaines is was president of the SAR chapter. Jerry Hines is a veteran. George Nelson is a veteran and on the board. Carla Devon made some little bitty soldiers, our patriot, and used them as a fundraiser. Henry Mayo is on the Brazos County Historical Commission, and myself. So we've got a variety of groups working with us. So we had the kickoff, and we had coverage on the TV, 2 times, the Channel 25 on January 6th, WTAW on January the 6th, and WTAW. And at the top, we now have a Facebook page. And we've had lots of interest in it. And on the next slide, we'll have more information. But it's Facebook, Never Forget Garden. And we got lots of pictures on there. So So what we've done is we've worked on the design and the concept, and now we're still refining some of that, and now we're in the marketing and fundraising. So we'll be glad to do programs. If y'all have a group that you'd like to have a program, we'll be glad to share with them. Next slide.
This slide is again showing you about the planning and the presentations, and there's been a whole lot of work done so far, and yet you're still looking at grass out at Veterans Park. But that just shows you how much it takes to get this done. Up on the top left is our City Council presentation to Madam Harvell and group. Over on the right.
Let me ask you. And the people in that group are some of the members of the executive committee. So we appreciate they're going to City Council with us.
On the left is a slide where we met with Tony Watson of Watson Memorials over in Welborn. And he is the one that's going to work on and do the final monument and the granite star. Down below is when Jane and I, and actually Susie Owendalski went with us to Jerry Heinz's coalition military group. So we really are trying to get around in the community, and we do need to have your help to come up with program chairmen for like the Lions Clubs and the Rotary Clubs and different organizations that would be interested in what we're trying to do. Not just military organizations, but community organizations.
So on it is listed what's at the garden. We mentioned the standing granite monument with the wreath, the plaque on the right, on your right, from the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, and the plaza and the garden is shown on the top right, and then we have the park bench, which you've already seen. Let's talk about donations through the foundation. It's on the bottom of that.
Okay, we were concerned with the amount of money that this was going to cost because most of us have not dealt with those kinds of funds. So we were really happy when Patricia Gerling from the Community Foundation of the Brazos Valley stepped forward and said, "Oh, that's all you're going to spend? We can do that." And I was very impressed. We do, through her, have the ability to get pledges and donations done through the credit card. We have the way to get in touch with her. I have a telephone number. We can give you that if you need it. More?
Yes. Her contact information is on the bottom of the, or toward the bottom of the form. You can mail your checks. On the back are ways to make donations.
The Community Foundation is a 501c3 charitable organization. They handle quite a large number of endowment funds, and so you would send a check or make a donation through a credit card with her. The check would be made out to the Community Foundation of the Brazos Valley, and then a hyphen and Never Forget Garden Fund. So that's the way we want to reach out. Yes, the Facebook page, if you just go in and type in facebook.com and then you put in Never Forget Garden, sometimes you won't come right to the page. So it's important to put what's up here, facebook.com, capital N, capital F, capital G, / Veterans Memorial. I'll get it out in a minute. Yes, I think that covers it. The other thing is there are these sheets that you're looking at now, they are available online through the SAR website. That's up here, and it's also on your sheet of information. And then also on the A&M Garden Club, there is a button where you can go, and if you want to find the donor forms, that's where they are. We have several levels of donation that are available. We start off with our Pave the Way campaign, which is a 4-inch by 8-inch brick paver that's engraved, and those are $250 each. The next level of donation is the 8-inch by 8-inch, which is an engraved paver for $500 each. Right now, we're not sure how many of those pavers are available, but there will be a limited amount, so jump right in there, you all. Grab one. The flag donors that we're calling them flag donors, these are the people that are going to be donating $5,000 and up. So the $5,000 flag donor is called the Lone Star flag donor. The next one is the $10,000 Stars and Stripes flag donor, $25,000 Betsy Ross flag donor, and the $40,000 Old Glory flag donor we hope to find as our benefactor. Yes.
And these are levels of recognition. We appreciate any contribution. We had a $12.50 contribution. All donors will be recognized in the program at dedication. But these levels will have recognition at the garden, permanent recognition at the garden. So, you know, $25, $50, $100, we accept all levels. If you want your name on it, then one of these would be a way to have your name at the garden. And we also can have anonymous. If you want to donate a brick and put anonymous on it, it's your option. Sherry will work with you on it.
Yes. The other thing is every donation, regardless of large or small, will receive a tax letter, a tax deduction letter from the Community Foundation. So there's a thank you letter from us and an important tax letter from them.
And Sherry, let me mention, we've also had requests about moving your IRA or some of your, as we get older, funds that you have to take. You can transfer those direct to this, and that helps lower your taxes. So it takes off the amount before taxes.
Right. And that's all done through a charitable organization. So it's not us trying to play around with money.
Community Foundation.
Yes. CFVB. This basically is just giving you the information about who is on the executive committee. That sounds kind of fancy, but we're just plain folks trying to get a really neat project done. Right now and permanently is Jane Cohen is the chair of the, we try to call it NFG because it's so much easier than spouting out the whole title. The vice chairs are Vicki Smith-Dickey, Brandon Gaines, and Lou Hodges. The treasurer is myself, Sherry Frisk, and our secretary is Susie Owendalski. We have advisors. Jane's husband, Bob Cohen, has been there setting up presentations and has been a real trooper with all of that. George Nelson has been a wonderful help. He's a retired banker, which goes a long way to giving us good advice. And Heather White is quite the gardener, I think. So we're happy to have she and Lou doing that. Reviewers, Patricia Gerling, Steve Beachy, and Stephen Richardson is with the city staff, and all of them have been really wonderful. Again, this is the SAR website where you can get more of the donation forms. Okay, this one is our last slide. This just gives you, the picture at the top gives you a better perspective of where the garden is located in relation to the Wall of Honor and the flags in the pavilion. The Lynn Stewart Pathway signage is right there, and just beyond that, in front of those trees and stretching towards the sidewalk, is where this plaza is going to be located.
And you can see the bench right there on the right of the picture. That's in front of the bench, sort of is where the garden will be and the memorial.
And this over here is, on the right-hand side, is just a drawing, just like the landscape design is a drawing. So you have to kind of use your imagination about what the real thing is going to look like. But the monument says, in honor of American unknown soldiers. And then down at the bottom is, again, it gives you the perspective. The group is standing right where the garden will be located.
So we think this will be a great addition to our community. And like we said, we're still in the development stages, so we will appreciate your suggestions. I have a question. What's one thing that was interesting? What it was interesting that you learned, or ask us a question? We will start over here.